This is a heavy, plain-looking metallic jug with a hinged stopper. Despite its common appearance, you feel reluctant to touch the thing, as if it might bite you. You've been told that some sort of monster trapped inside it, but peering into the jug's mouth reveals nothing but inky blackness. Up in the jug, see something comes out. At first there's nothing. Then a black, viscous liquid begins to bubble out of the jug's mouth, forming a slimy pool of steaming, tarry filth on the ground. As the jug begins to dissolve in your hands, the pool begins to writhe, throb, and rise to the form of a tall, hideous creature. What the... Ah! I'm in danger! Help, it's a Garolith.
I'm hurt.
Scary Garolith. Oh my goodness. Y'all. Step it up. Also, help. Are you helping already? Does he attack at range? Ouchies.
Yes.
Can't do. Okay, cure moderate wounds. Gotta out heal the incoming damage. Okay, you're a little late, but okay.
All right.
Nobody else like even really reacted to this mess.
Right.
Gold bracelet, wow, totes worth it. Ooh, 14,000 experience though. Split 5 ways is much less, but we are we are actually closing in on that 125,000 that felt so far away once upon a time. Not only is my experience split between 5 people, I'm pretty sure, otherwise I'd be leveling way faster, right? But I believe also these people have to split their experience between 2 classes, so... A weird experience. Multi-classing is an odd thing.
I'm gone.
So, one less item to deal with. Earth into flesh, tongue, cube. You can't use the other ones, so you have to take them to the right character, basically. Alright. So I'm gonna want to re-examine the rest of her items later, because I'm still looking for, like, a very strange item, like a birdcage festooned with razor blades. Oh. Hi. Wait, you guys can't find it? All of them freaked out. Man, those things don't stand much of a chance, do they? So... just because she is nearby, I might check to see if the mute would use the tongue, but I don't think she would. Also, the Modrons are here. Who was the silent one? Isn't Vivian the one with the smell? Juliet. Right, Juliet's the one that I ruined the relationship with. Her relationship was going too well and she just wanted to fuck it up. And I was too good at that. Nenny's the one that sees everything. Kasai Sari was one of the last people we met, so she's not the mute. Laura's always out here. Eve's the tail chaser. I could do a couple more of these. Tell her the story of the Silent King. Eves leans forward to tell, as you tell the tale of a nation hidden, of a hidden nation of undead, ruled by a corpse who hasn't spoken in 1,000 years. It was far after peak, when the distant pounding was heard at the gates of the prison. Karis, the oldest mercy killer known to the faction, dragged himself from his post, making his way down the hall to the great gates that separated the punished from the outside world. The pounding did not fade as he reached the gate and spoke to it. He called out and received no answer. He opened the gate, far from feeling caution, but a strange, compelling sensation. A haggard figure was on bent knees just beyond the door. Her hands were bloody from where they had been pounding against the gate, and her breath came in labored gasps. As the flickering light from the interior prison chamber poured across the cobbles, she glanced up at the mercy killer who stood framed in the doorway and began to sob with relief. He felt himself mirrored in all but his gender as he stared at the woman, and he was stirred by her presence. Karis found himself unsure of what to say, so he simply waited for the woman to provide an explanation. She did. It was a simple statement, but of utmost importance, and it made Karis, whose knees ached painfully with every movement, bend down and help the woman to her feet. He brought her in from the outside, guiding her gently into the passage beyond. She had said that an injustice had been done, and that was all that Karis needed to hear. In the end, it came to pass that she could not fulfill her duty as a Fury, for a man guilty of a blood crime had died unpunished. She begged Karis and the Mercy Killers for aid, and so they executed her. She had failed in her charge. The story of Farod. Once came a man who had experienced the most beautiful thing in the multiverse. It was his intention to place the experience within one of the Civic Fest Hall's sensory stones, magical devices which held feelings and memories for an eternity, leaving them for others to partake of. But he thought about it. Wouldn't its being shared dilute the experience? So he held it to himself, precious thing that it was, and aged with the memory. But as he aged, the memory became tarnished and beaten, and he could no longer recall the glory of the experience. So he had a chance to record it and set it in stone and share it, and instead he held it to himself. But like every time you access a memory, you change it supposedly. Like people's memories are just unreliable, and we tell ourselves stories to make ourselves make sense. And that often means overriding and replacing memories with things that are more convenient to remember. The Dream Builder. He usually leans forward as you tell the tale of a man who lost his ability to dream and commissioned the construction of a device that would allow him to dream once more. Once upon a time, a man came into a field of hives. Upon this field, he heard thousands of bees, but there was not a single bee to be seen. Amongst the hives walked a beekeeper, who was extracting the honeycomb from the apparently empty hives. Yet despite the lack of insects, the drone continued. The man was mystified. He made to speak with the beekeeper, who lifted his hood to reveal a creature made entirely of bees. A mouth-shaped depression formed in the mass of insects which made up the thing's face. The depression moved as the creature spoke, but the drone was such that its words could not be understood. The man died at that moment, trying to understand what it was the beekeeper said. They died? Not even explicitly attacked, but just meh, bleh. That's pretty horrific, though. Me waking up in the mortuary. There are chapters in the Dead Book, the massive tome which the Dustmen keep that records the passing of all the lives into the eternal boundary. In this book, there are chapters that are not but dust, and it is believed that the names therein are lost souls who cannot die, but suffer life eternally until history itself dies and grants them release. Great. The Alley of Dangerous Angles. The tale concerns a suitor of the Lady of Pain, one of many over the years. He was a young woman He was a young man who was obsessed with the mistress of Sigil. He saw her everywhere, in every corner of her city. He would hear the rushing of her robes, the scrape of her blades, and grow infatuated beyond all reason. He hoped that if he worshipped her, that he would at last be able to see her, and so worship her he did. He was found dead on the blood-soaked steps of his own home, grievous stab wounds covering the whole of his body, but his eyes were open wide, and upon his lips was a triumphant smile. Oh, I guess he got what he wanted. Ask one of your companions if they have a story to tell. Anna? I'm no good at telling such things, I'm not. She frowns and waves her hands as if trying to shoo away the idea. Don't be asking me for such nonsense now. Just tell the story already, Anna. No. Please share the story, Anna. Anna looks uncomfortable, her tail lashing slowly back and forth. Well, I know one story. She suddenly becomes angry, glaring at Eves. But you might not like it, you won't. So don't go blaming me for your choking out of me. Go ahead, Anna. Anna scowls, then finally relents with an exasperated sigh. I heard the story when I was a wee lass. This Burke's walking home real late, near Antipeak, and passes an old toothless crone in a dark and otherwise empty street. Where you going? She asks him. Home to me wife and Kip, he says. Need the slag? She asks him. Sure enough, he says. So she asks him for a favor, to take a box she's got to Debtor's Pick and give it to the woman there. Now this Burke's a real sap. Too nice to say no, despite the fact that he's sure something's not quite right about this old crone. And agrees. But what's the woman's name, he asks. Where does she live? Where should I look for her, if she's not by Debtor's Pit? The woman hands him the box, a wooden thing wrapped in colored cloth, and tells him to just go, and she'll be there. Finally, she warns him, and whatever he does, do not open the box. It's the same box from earlier, isn't it? So he takes it home with him and hides it in the rafters, thinking he'll bring it by Debtor's Pit when it's lights out. His wife, though, seeing him hide in the box, gets right jealous, thinking it's a gift for a lover or something, and opens it up as soon as he's not looking. Well, turns out the box is full of gouged out eyes and severed male members with the hair still on them. Her scream brought the Burke running. He remembered what the crone said, got right scared, and wrapped the box back up. He went out straight away to Debtor's Pit, and sure enough, there was another old hag waiting there for him. He hands her the box, and she says, "This box has been opened and looked into." The poor Book tries to deny it, but she gets this dreadful look on her face. "You done something horrible," she tells him, then disappears. That done, he hurries back to his Kip. He's feeling ill when he gets back and takes to bed. His wife bitterly regretted opening the box and all, but it was too late. The next day he died of a rotten disease, and the first things to go was his eyes and stem. Anna nods grimly, her tale complete. Well. Unfortunate. Shouldn't have gone home with that, apparently. That was wonderful, Eve smiles. That was a wonderful tale, Anna. You should never hesitate to share it. Now I've one for you and your companion, the Parched Land. That was a wonderful... Maybe she says this all the time, but I don't know if you should say that was a wonderful tale you should never hesitate to share when it's about a guy's dick rotting off. There's a time and place for certain things, right? Once, a large village was struck by a terrible drought. A farmer journeyed to the worshipping stone and again implored it as to the cause of the drought. He asked the stone why it did nothing when the fields were parched and dying, why the animals and the people suffered while the stone did not a thing. "Have we not given enough offerings?" the farmer asked, begging almost upon his hands and knees. But the stone did not respond, it merely sat and cast its shadow. That's the entire story? We're dying, why wasn't our religion fixed saving it? The end. No follow-up. I don't think the stone's real in that case, but it's not a good sign. Daikon, do you have a story to trade? Daikon nods solemnly. I shall impart the tale of Akali drowning. Daikon tells the story of Akali, a foolish Githzerai of myth who had become lost in the chaos of limbo. Normally, a single Githzerai may use their focus and mental discipline to form the chaos around them into a small, habitable environment. Akali, however, asked so many useless and unfocused questions in her quest to return home that her isle of matter dissolved around her and she drowned. Eve smiles. Fascinating, Daikon. Let me share with you and your companion another version of your tale that I have heard. Daikon looks attentive and perhaps a little surprised. Eves goes on to tell a different version of Daikon's tale, in which Akali was driven from the Githzerai city of Shrak-Tlor for her constant useless prattling. One day, she encountered a Sladi on his way to the spawning stone. She hastily erected a wall of chaos matter, which even the ravenous Sladi found difficult to break down. Hungrily it waited and spoke to her through the wall. She asked it questions, and as she became more absorbed in their pointless queries and the Sladi's answers, her own wall decayed and collapsed upon her, and thus she drowned in the matter of limbo. A different interpretation. Or kind of just a generally different story, but also like... I'm surprised he didn't have a response. Fall from Grace, do you have a story to trade? Grace turns to Eves. I have no story that I wish to share with you today, Tale Chaser. I cannot let you exhaust my library before I find more stories. And I think we're out of it then. It's amusing to me that we don't even try to ask Ignis for a story. Like, not even as there's not even a joke answer. We're like, no, what? Why would we? No, of course not. Jeez. So the jar just completely dissolved. So the jar is definitely not going to be useful for. Oh, Echo. There we go. The jar is not going to be useful for the shard because it's just gone now. The striking young woman has the skin and color of burnished copper. She's the one that doesn't talk. Nope. Yeah, they're not the person the tongue's gonna work on. Do these guys have a response to the Modron? Do you know what this little cube-like toy creature is? The Modron, its appearance identical in every aspect but size to the object in your hands, blinks once, twice, then speaks. The object is a portal cube. The user is to position the appendages of the portal cube in such a manner that it will activate. Once activated, the portal cube will transport the user to whatever destination it is tuned to during its creation. What's the proper position to activate this one? We do not have that information. Over 97% of all portal cubes function in a slightly different manner. We were not present at the construction of the subject's portal cube, nor have we ever been given instructions as to its use. Should the subject desire to utilize the portal cube, they will have to determine its method of operation and destination via experimentation. Where will this cube take its user? Nope. Okay. We have to play with it, basically. Manipulate the toy and look for some sort of effect. You bend, twist, and rotate the toy's various points of articulation, noting that the limbs often suddenly revert to their original position. Finally, as you bend the left knee, the toy makes an odd pop and shudders in your hands. Okay. Left knee, left arm. Nope. Left knee, right knee. Left knee, right arm. Left knee, left wing. Right wing. Ooh. Ooh. Sure. Random napkin and a Sharpie. I'm like, what can I get a hold of it nearby? This is gonna get too hard to memorize at some point. So, left knee, left wing, right wing. I'm just writing LKLWRW. That was a nice little spree I got. Left arm. Okay. Left knee, left wing, right arm. Okay. RA. There's a whir, a click, then a blinding white light suddenly explodes in your hands. Whoa! Okay. I maybe could have memorized that after all, because there's only one more step at that point. I thought I'd have to do all, like, 6 of them in the right order, and that'd be a lot. We're now in a Modron place or something. Hello, Mr. Modron.
Alright.
What the fuck? You see a cube with 2 arms, 2 legs, and 2 small wings sprouting from its side. On the front of the cube is an animated face. As you approach, the creature focuses its eyes upon you. Greetings! The creature focuses emotionless eyes on you. Greetings, adventurer. Welcome to Rubicon, the dungeon construct. Thank you for choosing Rubicon for your dungeoneering experience. You may access Rubicon through this door. What is Rubicon? The creature stares at you without answering. Oh. Rude. What is a dungeon construct? The creature blinks at you but gives you no indication it has heard your question. He will not answer questions. Map? World map? We do get past this threshold. Okay. We spent so long within the stitches of that one part of the map that I was starting to think that was the whole game, and this was just all otherwise here to suggest that the world is larger in some way. But now we got some context. So these guys are from a completely different faction. They're like what? Like neutral, lawful neutral or something like that? I don't know. The Modrons with the cubes. They're machines. They're probably lawful. Yep, okay. Oh, this sets something up for sure. So I'm counting the areas, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is how many squares there are on the alignment chart. So I'm thinking that, I don't know if we'll get to all of them or not, but I'm thinking each of these stitched up areas is a separate one of the planes. And that's how the world map works. So we were in Sigil, and at some point we'll have the chance to visit other planes, because we just went to this one. This is entirely informed by just the information we got from those lectures about the, like, the bridge cities or whatever they were called? Basically the border cities, where, like, they determine, based on the thought processes, based on the alignment of the people within the city, they, like, affect what realm the city is in and so on. Okay. I was starting to think the map was all filled in and that we might be nearing the end of the game, and now I'm back to not really knowing where we are in the game. We still kind of lack a core driving plot, because we still haven't recovered any of our memory. Having a full party makes it really hard to use doors. I guess I can't use this door, maybe? Yeah, so he just ignores me. All we can do is continue forward. I'm not totally excited about the fact that it sounds like... The way they explain it makes it sound like a combat dungeon. Low threat construct. You see a mechanical man with pale green skin. Although it is obviously a construct, it does have an animated face, which is scowling at you. Greetings! The creature suddenly stops scowling at you and adopts a look of mock terror. Eek! It is a hero, sent here no doubt to slay the evil one. Woe to me, the hapless construct on duty at the time of his arrival. What are you going on about? The creature places its hands on its hips and frowns at you. The plot, you dolt! Stick to the plot! How do you expect me to play my part if you don't cooperate? Where were we? It pauses to think for a moment. Oh, I remember. I was about to trounce you. It leaps out to attack. Oh, there's more of them. Oh, they do also aggro. Buff our shit up. I keep giving him all the rings, I guess. Bag of coins. A small bag filled with some strange coins. The coins have unusual pictures and writing on them. They don't appear to be of any value. Well, they're just not local money. They're probably... Well, they might not be these people's money either. They might be joke money. Fantasy roleplay money. You see a mechanical man with pale green skin. Although it is obviously a construct, it does have an animated face, which is scowling at you. Die in the name of the evil wizard! The creature brandishes a weapon at you. Am I supposed to be frightened by all this? The creature stops waving its weapon and pauses to think a moment. Yes, mentioning the evil one always strikes fear into the hearts of the masses, giving cause for the hero to travel forth facing many perils until he finally defeats the evil one due to an act of total stupidity. What? He leaps to attack. What do you mean he doesn't? Were you not scared? Ooh. Leave my priest alone.
I'm gone.
We've discovered the goofy roleplay hallway. Am I supposed to be roleplay murdering them or actually murdering them? Because I seem to be actually murdering them. Which seems bad for them. Although they're not alive. Scowling. Eek! It is the hero. Who are you? The creature pauses to think for a moment, then gives an exaggerated shrug of its shoulders. Your hapless victim? It readies itself for an attack. This can't be happening, can it? Ah, but it is! Have at ye, knave! It leaps to the attack. Why do you self-identify as my victim? Oh, their pathing gets very confused when they're all running together.
All right.
Oh, regular money still exists here. Why do you even have that? Scowling at me. Eek! What are you? I am the dungeon inhabitant that is going to attempt to kick your arse. It leads to the attack. Well, they're consistent. And they give a similar amount of experience that the Stories lady did. for each story. So I guess there's that. The evil wizard. What evil wizard are you talking about? The creature stops waving his weapon and pauses to think for a moment. The one that doesn't exist until you set the Rubicon Dungeon construct to hard difficulty level. Boy, will you be in trouble then. Meanwhile, die in the name of the evil wizard. There isn't even an evil wizard to die to. What a reveal.
I'm gone.
Ooh. A mirror of quality. Creates 1 to 4 mirror images of self. Creates duplicates of anyone reflected on the surface, like the magic mirror spell. Each image is identical to the user of the mirror and may confuse enemies. There is a chance that an image will be targeted rather than the mirror user. That's a spell I like to use on my sorcerer. It was handy because specifically... It was handy because you would specifically try to, every time you got attacked, you'd roll a dice, basically. If it was, I think it was like, man, it's been a while. I think you'd roll 1 dice to find out if it hits or not, and then after you verify the hit, you then would roll another dice to find out whether or not it landed on you or not. It just as easily could have missed and hit one of your mirror images. But each time it hits a mirror image, you lose that mirror image, so you have a dwindling number of mirror images left, and with them a dwindling number of times you can soak hits. We have a branching path. Scowling. Grrr! The creature growls at you and then pauses, waiting your reaction. Am I supposed to be frightened by that? It looks confused. Grrr? It makes a feeble, threatening gesture towards you. I asked you if I'm supposed to be frightened by that. It stares at you for a moment while considering the question. Yes. Grr is a sound indicative of a threat. I have included an appropriate gesture to add weight to the threat. Fear is the anticipated response, which will give me an advantage in the fight that follows. It leaps to attack. Spoilers, it did not give him an advantage in the ensuing fight.
I'm gone.
There's something goofy about all of our getting experience, but we're just fake fighting through a fake place. A clue! This cryptic piece of parchment simply states, you now have a better understanding of what is going on. Oh. Cool, it's a role-playing clue where the person who wrote it didn't have to think of a clue. Scowling. Eek! A hero! What are you doing? Creature leans in and begins to whisper to you. I am currently enacting the minion who meets the hero for the first time. It then straightens and begins to call out in a frightened voice. To arms! Fellow constructs, we must strike down the hero! Leaps to attack. I figure I'll take the moment to try to exhaust the dialogue options since the characters repeat the same stuff, and so you can actually get to choose different dialogue even though they died and you're fighting a different one. They just have like repeating archetypes. Scowling. Grrr. Who are you? The question seems to throw the creature completely off balance. It stands staring at you with its head cocked to one side, unsure what to do. I am a monster. Now we do battle? You've got to be kidding. It continues to stare at you a moment. No! Grrr. It leaps to the attack. I am monster, and I am not joking. I have never joked in my life. Grrr. I did not remember to kill the first one. A goodie. This dungeon is a parody of dungeons. Look, bags of coin that don't do anything. A goodie. It looks like a small stone rod of some sort. Interesting, but useless. Inventory is quickly filling with nonsense. Okay, so that's the original branching path.
Done.
What's up, guys? Are you still building the dungeon? You see a cube, but blah blah blah. It looks at you. Greetings. Stares at you blankly. I have some questions. Its gaze never falters as it continues to stare at you. Can you answer some questions? Emotionless eyes blink at you as it continues to stare. Greetings! The creature speaks in a monotone, sexless voice. I have some questions. The creature continues to look at you blankly. State your question. Who are you? We are Modron. Your name is Modron? We are Modron. We do not have a name. We are Modron. All that you see here are Modron. We are one. If you don't have names, how do you tell one Modron from another? There's a pause as the Modron considers your question. We know. We are Modron. We are a part of the whole. Just as you recognize the hand that is part of the arm, we recognize each part of the whole. What about you, the individual? The Modron looks confused and pauses for a second. A heated buzzing sound fills the room but quickly passes. We are Modron. We are part of the whole. The whole is Modron. There is no other. Interesting. I have some questions. What are you? What are you? We are Modron. We are Quadrone. What is a Quadrone? Within our race, we are identified as a type Quadrone. What is a Modron? We are Modron. Our race is identified as such. What is this place? This is the Rubicon Dungeon Construct Project. What exactly is that? The Modron begins to emit a soft humming sound as it answers you. Rubicon. Project goal is to determine the dynamics, both social and asocial, surrounding the environment commonly constructed as a dungeon, and to attempt to explain the aberrations that tend to occur in such environments. How do you intend to do that? Rubicon is capable of forming a series of rooms linked in such a fashion as to form what is commonly referred to as a dungeon. Each dungeon can have one of 3 difficulty settings: easy, normal, or hard. The dungeon is then populated with monsters, traps, and treasure, according to the difficulty level chosen. After creation, the dungeon can be fully explored. The Modron begins to emit a low hum. What is that humming sound? Rubicon is worthy... Rubicon is a worthy accomplishment, and... It pauses for a moment. We are content. You said something about aberrations. Queries to be answered. What attracts people to dungeons? Why do people often seek to enter them if they are places of such danger? Why are dungeons there in the first place? What are the dynamics of a workable dungeon? We do not understand. It pauses. I do not. This game's from what, 1998? So it's like 25 years old, and we were already doing parodies of the concepts of dungeons in games. Like, that's just, it's just a goofy thing to think about that happened that far back, and we're still, like, we're still pretty shamelessly just making games that's just like, here is a modular, procedurally generated dungeon where a bunch of rooms just lock into each other and hit you with repetitive content, and that's still, like, sought after by people. Here it's being done as a joke, like, there are 3 NPC types. All the fights are the same, but they have slightly different reactions. That totally makes them different. You started to say I instead of we. The Modron gives you a concerned look, then glances about the room. You are in error. We are Modron. We are the whole. We will not discuss this. I know what I heard. You started to say I, and the Modron frowns at you. You hear a hint of anger in its voice as it answers you. No, we are Modron. We are a part of the whole. We will not discuss this further. An angry buzzing fills the room, then subsides. Alright, I'd like to try out one of these dungeons you mentioned. There's a significant pause before the Modron answers you. Request denied. Project halted due to... accident. What accident? Dungeon construct became unstable. Cause uncertain. Fail-safes activated, causing dungeon to collapse. Cause uncertain. Portal lens malfunctioned, causing contact with home plane of Mechanist to be severed. Cause uncertain. Reset of dungeon necessary. Then why don't you reset it? Reset can be only initiated by Project Director. Project Director disintegrated. Portal lens has malfunctioned, and contact with Mechanist severed. Cannot acquire replacement director for Mechanist. Well, this sure seems like a lack of failsafes. So let me get this straight. You can't reset without a director, but you can't get a director without resetting. The Modron looks worried and begins to fidget. Assessment correct. Project halted. Look, I'm an adventurer, and I've been through some dungeons in my day. Why not let me be your director? The room is suddenly filled with a buzzing sound that just suddenly subsides. Assistants, welcome. You are now Project Director. Advise on next task. Reset the dungeon. Initializing reset. The room is filled with a low, thrumming sound that can be felt rather than heard. Collapsing existing dungeon. The sound rises in power until the floor begins to vibrate. Initializing new dungeon. The sound rises in volume until you think your head is about to explode. Suddenly the room goes quiet. Reset complete. Dungeon construct status. Easy. Awaiting further instructions, Director. Are there any... what exactly is the Rubicon capable of? Rubicon is capable of forming a series of rooms linked in such a fashion as to form what is commonly referred to as a dungeon. Each dungeon can have... I think that's mostly new. Each dungeon can have one of 3 difficulty settings, easy, normal, or hard. The dungeon is then populated with monsters, traps, and treasure, according to the difficulty level chosen. After creation, the dungeon can be fully explored. The Modron pauses. Alternate capabilities are available via the portal lens. What alternate capabilities? Rubicon can form a gateway to other locations by temporarily attaching itself to known existing portals. This effect is known as a portal lens. This allows use of the portal from within Rubicon without traveling to the portal location. So if I know of a portal, I can go to its destination from here. Correct, Director. Are there any dangers associated with Rubicon that I should be aware of? Yes, Director. Do not become separated from any companion while in the maze. If the maze were to be reset, or a new difficulty setting chosen, anyone left in the maze would be killed. I see. I will not reform my party while in the maze. Anything else?
Updated my journal.
Yes, Director. Do not drop items or equipment in the maze. If the maze were to be reset, or a new difficulty setting chosen, any item left in the maze would be destroyed. I see. I'll not drop anything in the maze.
Updated
Anything else?
journal.
He pauses to think a moment. No, Director. Just, you know, certain death. That's the only downside. I want to create a dungeon to explore. Hard. Collapsing current dungeon, but a bunch of noise. Then we get back to it. Let's find this evil wizard. I think nobody else around here is going to talk to me. We really are just all the way over here. Okay, so we looped back around and now we're back at the front door. You see a mechanical man with volcanic red skin along one arm. It watches you approach with a wary eye. Greetings. It cocks its head to one side and gives you a questioning look. Greetings, intruder. What makes you think I'm an intruder? It gives you a wicked smile. Because you are not one of us, therefore you are an intruder. As an intruder, you must die. Well, maybe it is you that will be doing the dying today, haha. Well.
I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
That's just entire inventory on the ground? It is. I feel like I should look up, like... Planescape Torment Companion Death. Like... Are they just dead?
How may I help?
Apparently you don't just get people back, you need to have like a raise dead spell. Well, we kind of got stomped. Oh, this is a different thing? No, same volcanic red skin. Greetings. It cocks its head to one side and gives you a questioning look. Your tenacity is impressive, intruder, but foolish nonetheless. Why do we have to fight? It seems so pointless. It stares at you a while before answering. It only seems pointless, intruder. There is meaning behind our madness. Oh, there's two of them now. It's worse.
Endure, your will be done.
I fear I've been wounded. Should have been more careful.
Oh, damage 36.
Yeah. Seemed like a right enough.
You guys, I think hard mode might be hard.
Right.
Talking to these characters is funny, but I'm less interested in actually doing the dungeon, honestly. Let's go back to the clerk's ward.
All right.
Well, I was a little worried that'd be a waste of money or something, but that turned out to be a whole thing of its own. That was an entire adventure that we can still follow up on later. Didn't make much money. Oh, that's the Advocate's home. Ah. The gallery is where we wanted to go. Oh, didn't work.
Done.
Interested in finding out what this guy's deal is. Apply the Gorgon salve to the statue. You've smeared the foul-smelling ointment over the statue. There's a strange shimmering around the statue, and you watch as the statue takes an intake of breath, and the eyes of Gangroighidon fill with a blazing, vengeful madness. Cover your ears. Before you can do such a thing, a blazing torrent of words flies from the sorcerer's lips. As he speaks, you feel an agonizing sensation, like a sudden wave of raging heat pour over you and settle into your skin like a blistering wound. Blindness strikes you as your eyes burst, running from their sockets like shattered eggs. You hear someone screaming and realize it is you. Fall into darkness, a victim of Gangroighidon's awful curse.
So again, it has come to pass.
Rude. Why am I in the lower ward?
Done.
Did anybody else die?
All right.
The statue, in truth the once petrified sorcerer Gangroighidon, is simply gone, presumably having walked off without leaving so much as a note of apology. Well, I got 4,000 experience, I guess. So I guess I bought 4,000 experience at the store, essentially. Let's ask about the statue of the Screaming Man. Odd you should ask about that. Just after a terrible noise, some patrons came running to me about a mangled corpse on the floor. The Harmonium came to remove the body from the premises, but could find no perpetrator. I told them that, in all likelihood, some madman had released Gangroighidon and had been slayed by his curse. But the old sorcerer himself was nowhere to be found. I know nothing more. So he's just gone. Well, bye. The end. Or he'll show up at some point in the future. A bit worrying, because he can apparently just take me out with one shout. The Fiend's Tongue. I need to make more money. Spent a bunch of it on gear earlier. I guess I can peruse her other wares, because some of these were really cheap. So having like 350 is potentially enough to afford something. And then I can look into what that might do.
I'm gone.
This is my little entertainment spot now. The front of the store. Baby oil, chocolate, quasite, codex of the inconceivable, Diva's tears, elixir of horrific separation, the stained lens, Yevra's ring, a rune-covered ale stein, a tattered rag doll. I'm looking for a bird cage, and then this could be the way to fix the other guys. The elixir of horrific separation. You examine the bottle labeled an elixir of horrific separation. Vrishika presents it to you. This stuff was compounded by a scholar who'd found she'd possessed a darker half, a side of which took control at times and bade her do awful things. This potion was to have split the darker half away from her, creating two separate beings. Mercy killers, however, found and executed her for a string of depraved murders before she could use it. I charge you only 200 copper commons for the elixir. I'll take it. Diva's Tears? 100. You examine a small glass vial labeled Diva's Tears. These were collected from a diva who was captured during a blood war skirmish. The fiends tormented the prisoned angel for eons before he was at last escaped. This small bottle holds the 12 tears he shed in that time. Their price is but 100 copper commons. I'll take them. Given how hyped the background is, it seems really cheap. If it's even real. A small glass vial. Diva's tears are said to soothe the most savage anger. Even that of a fiend's tongue. Oh. So we can use it to chill out the fiend that everyone hates, potentially.
Also known as Wanker City.
Wanker City. I'm glad the horrific separation isn't that it's supposed to be horribly painful. Because the name's really worrying. I've got this elixir of horrific separation. Do you think that'd help you? Both his eyes suddenly snap to the bottle in your hands. He nods, smacking his lips. Here you are, then. Pestle Kiln takes the bottle in both hands and places it beneath the counter. His left eye focuses on you. While his right eye and hand concentrate on scribbling furiously on the countertop. We could use this to make something that'll fix us. Right on up. Now if you'll just give us a moment. I got it all worked out. We'll make you some healing stuffs for a reward. He turns to head to the back of the shop. Alright, farewell for now then. This one goes here, this one goes there. Pestle Kiln. There are two people. This man closely resembles Pestle Kiln, though without the crawling skin and constant subtle mutations. Greetings again, sir, and well met. And what is it I, Pestle, can do for ye? Still doesn't want to answer questions. You guys buy anything? Doesn't seem like it. The man's face closely resembles Pestle Kiln's, though without the crawling skin and constant subtle mutations. Greetings, again. The name's Kiln. Need you something? I was hoping to get some healing concoctions. Did you talk to Pestle yet? He's the one that'll handle it for you. Okay. Yes, of course. Your reward, aye? Let's see now. I'll manufacture them for you for nothing, of course, but I'll need the proper ingredients. An Oni's heart, or powdered hematite, or the hair of a diva, or a thread from an A. Simmons robe, or the blood of a regenerating creature. There's a troll, or actually my wounds heal very quickly. Pestle raises an eyebrow. Do they now? Well then, your own blood might just do. Here, give me a sample if you would. After drawing a small quantity of your blood and retreating to the back of the store, Pestle returns with a number of what appear to be hardened drops of blood. Placed upon ye's tongue, these clot charms will heal existing wounds and aid in the prevention of new ones for a time. Thanks, Pestle. That's the end of that. I got, 10 clot charms. Okay. Oof. Now she's holding 15. Don't know if that's an overall huge.
Done.
I haven't spent that much on any of the items besides the statue, so that was almost certainly a profit, because healing items are actually kind of expensive. Neat.